This is the HPI Baja Q32. It is a 1/32 scale, two-wheel drive, little remote control buggy. Inside you get stickers, user manual. Here you have the car itself that needs to have the body put on it. Remote, not bad, feels good. Little bag of goodies. There is the body in here, some double-sided Velcro. The body does attach on with Velcro, as does the wing that you see there. And then of course you do have to put the stickers on the body itself. A couple of markers here to make yourself a little track to sort of race the buggy around. The buggy itself, just on with some twisty tab things here. You can put this back together and it doubles as a jump. So you can see this will now double as a jump. There is the buggy itself. Tiny little motor at the back. A little bit of a spring here for suspension. Suspension at the front. It's more based on flex than anything else. Not much going on. You can see the wheels are a little bit kind of got a positive camber going on there. And you can see how the arms swing on the buggy there. Little port here, this is for charging. There's no batteries included, but this guy here folds out. Once you have your batteries in, you're able to charge the car just like so. Now that my car is charging, it's time to put the stickers on the body. Charging is complete once the red LED switches off. Velcro, and it's ready to roll. Okay, so you've seen an unboxing, you've seen the car in action. Now I'm going to take a couple of minutes and just give you my thoughts on the HPI Baja Q32. I'm going to start off this little mini review with some of the positives on this car, because I have to say I'm actually quite impressed with what HPI have put together here. I'm a really big fan of the fact that they've reused the existing packaging that the car came with to make this nice little ramp. That is a very cool idea, and it really adds to the entertainment of running the RC. I think that's a very clever thing that they've done here. Also appreciate the fact that they've included some markers for you to create your own little course around the house, wherever it is that you're going to be running the RC. And they've also got some holes in the center of them. You should be able to see that, hopefully. So you can actually pin them down on the carpet to stop them from moving around or flipping over or anything like that. So very clever idea there. The remote itself, it's not super big, but it does fit in the hand very comfortably, has a good feel on the trigger, and the steering actually is quite nice. However, I did find that the steering on the wheel doesn't quite match the steering of the car itself. What I mean by this is that you tend to hit full steering before the wheel stops turning. So your steering scope is actually quite small, and I found that when I was trying to just turn about a half, I was really turning full. So it doesn't seem to be quite proportional in between the transmitter and the car. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Now you do have a throttle trim on the back here, and there's also a little bit of steering trim on the front or on the top of the remote, but you can also adjust the steering trim if it does really get out of whack on the car itself. So there's a little adjustment just there, and you can move that around to obviously fix up your steering. You can see how the canopy just attaches on with some Velcro, so very easy. You don't have to push it down too fast or too hard rather, because I find that if you really push it down, it becomes really difficult to take off. Going back to the remote, you have your on and off switch just here. There's also a little binding button on the back, and you've got your power light and charging light just there. The remote does run on 4 AA's, but the batteries are not included, so you will need to supply those yourself. But the coolest thing about this remote, something that I really appreciate, is that you charge the car via this little cable just here that tucks away on the remote. So very, very easy and very simple to charge up the car. So if you're doing some traveling and you want to take a little RC with you, these are the only 2 things you're going to need. They're not going to take up a lot of room in your bag and or backpack or handbag, whatever it is that you're going to be taking them in. And that's really all you need. Make sure that you have a fresh set of batteries in there, charge up your car, and away you go. So I think that this is a much neater idea than having to either replace batteries on the car or remove them to charge them up, or having extra USB cables and whatnot just to charge the car via USB. I suppose it would be nice to have that option so you're not always burning up batteries on your remote, especially if you're at home. I guess they could probably include that in future releases, but for those of us who are traveling and if you're out and about, just having the cable for the remote there and charge it directly onto the car, I think it's a very cool idea. Now for the car itself, keep in mind that this is a very small car, of course, so it's not the most robust vehicle that you're going to come across. However, I did drop it off my presentation table and it bounced straight back up. It was totally fine, nothing's broken, nothing's twisted. So I guess it can take a little bit of abuse, but everything is very thin and very lightweight, so you do need to keep that in mind. Now, of course, this is only an indoor type of running vehicle, unless, of course, you have a very smooth driveway or some smooth flooring in your garage or something like that, but you're not going to be taking something like this off-road, obviously. The tyres are only foam, so they're not the grippiest tyre. Ideally, you want to run this where the foam or spongy type of material that they've used here will give most grip. So polished floorboards and tiles are not ideal. Where you want to run it is where I was running mine, and that is on the carpet. That's where I found that it grips really nicely. Everywhere else, sorry, you're probably most likely going to be spinning out a lot because it is only a 2-wheel drive, so rear-wheel drive. But the car itself is nice. It handles very nicely. It has good speed. Has a little bit of suspension on the back here, which is good, especially if you're going off the ramp. So it does a pretty decent job. For me, there's not a lot of negatives here. Aside from the fact that you have to put the stickers on, which I don't normally mind. I've always said this in the past. I prefer not having stickers on RCs so that you can customize the look of them yourselves. But this is actually really small and very fiddly, and it was just a bit tricky to put all these stickers on and get them all right. Another tip to remember as well, guys, is that the body does come with a protective film on it, so you do want to peel that off first before you start applying your stickers. Just remember that. Other than that, the car has done very well and I'm actually quite impressed. So for me, this guy gets a good thumbs up. That is it for me, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. Please be sure to check out the video description for more information on the HPI Baja Q32, as well as a link to my Facebook page, which of course will keep you some steps ahead of what goes on here on YouTube. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will speak to you next time.